Hi, my name is Victor. In this video, I'll be explaining in detail the concept and the strategy behind this Hyperliquid Trading Bot, which I recently finished. The strategy, I'll be explaining the source code. I'll be sharing with you my source file as well. I'll be walking you through how I was able to develop this. As you can see here, these are some of the trades that the bot is making directly on my Hyperliquid account. I started this account with 2 days ago with just a deposit of $100. If I should come here to my portfolio, you can see here that okay, I actually deposited $100. That was 2 days ago, and currently the account has earned like 3%. So my current balance is like 4103, approximately 104, which is approximately 4%. So I think so far this bot is actually doing well based on the current market structure. These are the current trades. This is for BTC here. You can see that the bot actually opened this short position on BTC USDC, and it set a stop limit order here, so it entered the trade over here. I'm gonna zoom in here, and it also sets the first take profit and the second take profit limit order over here. And yes, so i think the bot is actually doing fine for now, and I will be explaining in detail how I was able to build it. For those of you, maybe probably this is your first time, or maybe you are trying to build a Hyperliquid trading bot, this video should be a little bit helpful. And there are two ways. Before we get started, let me just quickly explain the concept behind building a trading bot that is going to work like this. Now, the concept meaning that you need to familiarize yourself with the Hyperliquid API documentation. I'll probably leave the link as well. So you just need to go to Google and search for Hyperliquid API documentation. So it should take you to a page like this. So these are their raw API documentation for if you are good with using direct API call method like post, like get, and other stuffs like that. You can actually go through some of their documentation. But for this bot, I used the CCST. I actually used the CCST library. So it's like a wrapper around the Hyperliquid API methods. It simplifies the approach of just calling the API directly, API for the Hyperliquid directly. So when we use the CCST library, I was able to easily call some of the methods here. So you can see over here, based on the CCST documentation, we have the fetch status, a lot of methods here, fetch currency, fetch market, and a lot of things like that. So we have the fetch balance, fetch tickers. This method is to create order. If you want to create multiple orders, you want to cancel an order or cancel different orders, and other stuff like that. Now let's get started. Let me show you the code, and I'll also be explaining a little bit about the strategy as well. Now, the first thing to get started building, I was able to actually use Python. So I use Python to build most of my trading strategies for my clients in most cases. So if you are new, the first thing you have to do is to just spin up a Python project. So can easily just create a folder. If you don't know how to do that, you can just ask AI. So maybe how to spin up a Python, how to spin up a Python project folder. So AI should give you a detailed guide. So you have to first create a folder on your laptop. Then you seed into the project folder. Then you create a virtual environment. Then we can activate that. Then you can start the project in detail. So and that was what I was able to do here. Now these are my source code. I think that should be a little bit easier to spin up a project. So that's not where we are going today. Now I only had, this is just a simple strategy, a straightforward strategy, which um, is a little bit advanced as well. But this is actually the current V1 version of the bot. So I call it Quantum Edge Trading Bot. There are a couple of libraries which I used here. I had to use Ashlib, HMark, CCST, which is the one I showed you earlier. I used the Pandas library, the NumPy, the datetime, the JSON file, the login, the OS libraries, SQLite for the database. I use the trading for a sync, and use time and other stuff like that. Then the Telegram, I also use the Telegram API as well. And so here I'm loading the environment variable from my env file. My env example is like this. So for me to run this bot, or for your bot, if you are building a bot on a platform like Hyperliquid, you are going to need um, to input your Hyperliquid main wallet address and your API private key. In order for you to get your main wallet address, you will need to go to your Hyperliquid account, and then you are going to click on your profile here, and then you can copy. Then for the API, you will need to click on this more, then click on API. They are going to create an API. Then the secret key of the API key it generates for you. That is what you are going to use. Okay, so I'm not going to expose my API key for security reasons, but you should be able to, I believe you should be able to figure that out by yourself. Then here I'm integrating into my Telegram as well, so that it can send notifications directly on my Telegram account. Now let's go back to the main.py file. So here I am loading the environment variables from my env file. Here I'm loading the Hyperliquid main wallet address, my private key. Then if I want to use the testnet, but currently I'm using the mainnet, so that means I'm trading with my real money. Then these are some of the pairs I am currently trading with. So so for you to get this, if you come over here, you have BTC, USDC, Ethereum. So these are some of the coins, the perpetual coins that Hyperliquid support, and that is what I actually used here. So BTC, USDC, Ethereum, the Solana, the BNB, SRP, ADA, Doge, and DOT. So these are the 8 uh, coins I want the bot to trade with. Then based on my strategy, I actually use the correlation group. That means for instance, BTC and Ethereum are actually correlated together. So what do I mean by correlation? Meaning that in most cases, if you should check, if you've been trading crypto for some time, you realize that most cases um, Bitcoin and Ethereum goes together. So what I mean is that if BTC is going up, in most cases Ethereum also tends to go up as well. And if BTC is coming down, Ethereum also tends to come down as well. So let's look at the trading chart for BTC on 1 hour. So the chart started going up from July, that was 1st of July. Now let's switch to Ethereum and let's check the same thing as well. Now you can see that the trading, the market for Ethereum also started moving up as at 1st of July as well. So this is the reason why, according to my strategy, I actually set both BTC and Ethereum as being correlated. Then I set the trading here. Okay, so these are the risk parameters I'm using for the bot. The account risk per trade, I set it to 0.15%. So that means the amount of risk, so meaning that for $100 deposit, I'm risking 0.15% of my portfolio. Okay, then this is the account risk per trade floor. So that means based on the floor when the trade is in drawdown. So I set this as 0.1%. The daily loss limit, so that is the maximum daily loss limit that the bot can we have to the maximum daily loss limit that the bot can trade. So I set it to 1.2%. So if the bot lose up to 1.2% of the capital, then it's actually going to stop trading for that day. Then the maximum positions the bot can open at the time is 6, and then the minimum is 3. Then I set the leverage to 1.5, so 1.5x. So that is the leverage I'm using. Then the max long exposure multiplier, I set it to 2.25. The max short exposure multiplier, I set it to 2.25 as well. Then these are some of my take profits. Take profit 1, I set it to 3.8%. Take profit 2, I set it to 9%. So just like what it showed for the BTC here, you can see that it entered the trade here. It set the first take profit to this, which is the 3.8% here. Then the second take profit as 9% of the entry price. Then the stop loss is set to okay, so we have the stop loss. The stop loss position is also set, which is this. It is actually calculated based on the I actually use the ATR to calculate the amount of stop loss to the average true range, to calculate for that current position, to calculate the stop loss that is going to actually use to open the position. Then the TP1 and the TP2 portion, then we have the runner position. That means once it reach my TP2, so it can still leave room for the trade to continue for some time. Then the takeout fee rate, I set it to this. The stop ATR time frame, I set it to, that is the average true range time frame to use to calculate for the stop loss. I set it to 1 hour. So if you are not familiar with ATR, you can just go on YouTube and watch a couple of videos on ATR, which is average true range. So average true range indicator strategy. So you probably find a couple of videos on how ATR actually works. Okay. Then I set the runner management to this as well. The runner ATR multiplier to 4, the position age reduced to 48, position age close to 168. Then the entry threshold, minimum balance, account balance for the bot to trade as 10 USDC, and some other parameters here as well. So this is what is going to use as a signal. So it can generate three signals for me, either with low volatility, with normal volatility, or high volatility. So for the low volatility, the weight the trend has to be equals to 0.3, the mean reversion 0.35, the breakthrough to 0.15, and the funding to 0.2. Same, and the others for the normal and then the high volatility are applied here. Okay, so this is just for the login part. Okay, so this is where the actual trading logic actually starts, the bot. So here we are initializing the class here and the positions. So here this function is for me to add the position, and then it's also helping to track positions. Okay, so like currently right now you can see that the bot is actually showing me the current positions I have actively opened on my Hyperliquid account. So it's showing me that I currently have 5 active positions. So if I come over to my Hyperliquid, you can see I currently have 5 positions, and then showing me the PNL as well directly on my terminal. So for BTC USDC, I have $0.98, 0.24 for Solana, which is actually correct. For ADA, 0.31, 0.31. So it's pulling the live update directly from my Hyperliquid account. Okay. So this function, this method is to mark for the first take profit hit. So if the bot hits the first take profit, so this method is going to get called, and this is for the second take profit hit. Then this method is to get all the active positions. Okay. Then this method is to remove current positions. So the current positions I have, so this method will help to remove that. Then this is getting the position age, how long has the position be open. Okay, so this is to so this we instantiate the class here so that we can, it's going to be like a global position tracker. Okay, now so these are some of the logics. So here this function is to ensure that the markets are loaded. So we initialize the market here. So then we set it to the maximum retries time, which is going to be 3. So it's actually loading all the market data directly from my Hyperliquid account. So that is what this function is doing. Then this function is helping to validate the symbol directly from Hyperliquid. So all the trading symbols here, the BTC, USDC, Ethereum, so it's actually going to validate if it's correct. Okay, or helping me to format it as well. Then this function is to get the current price of the token, or the coin in particular. So for BTC USDC, the current price is 63,298, and others as well. So this function is what it's doing. Then this is to run to the tick size. All the exchanges like Binance as well, Bybit always have RAM precision. So if you go through their documentation, I'm going to understand better. Then this is to run the amount to the market position. So all this logic here is to enable us when we are trying to open a trade directly on Hyperliquid using the bot. Then this is to trigger for stop loss and for long and short. So that's what this function is doing. Then we also have other functions here as well, logging the errors. Then this one is for placing the orders directly on Hyperliquid. So here we are extracting field and average order directly. So try multiple possible fields returned by CCST exchange. Remember, so all these things are actually adapted from the CCST library, by the way. So can just go through the documentation, play around with it if you're trying to build something like this. So these are all the methods that we actually use in the bot. So this is to place the reduce only take profit order. Okay, Then this is function is to place stock market order. Okay, then we are splitting the take profit sizes here. So and here is for the database. I'm using SQLite 3. So we are creating all the tables, the equity tree and other stuffs here. We are updating the positions in database. We are closing the positions in database. We are saving the position to the database. You can also use PostgreSQL. So let's say you are building, you want to use more like an ORM kind of database, probably using SQL Alchemy. So you can actually use PostgreSQL as well. You can save the equity snapshot here. Then this is for the risk management. Here we are checking the correlation group for instance the Ethereum and the BTC I was explaining earlier. So this function is helping to check for the correlation group. Then here we are checking the notional exposure for each trade. Okay, then here I'm calculating a dynamic risk over here. Okay, I'm getting the stop cap by regime, and this is where I instantiate connection to my Hyperliquid using the CCST library. So I'm importing the private key here, and I instantiate it here. So if I'm using the testnet, the Hyperliquid testnet, then I'm gonna use this. But since I'm using the mainnet, so it's not going to, this function is not going to run. Okay, so this is where we actually instantiate it. So ccst.hyperliquid, and then I'm passing in the exchange config here. So which includes my API key, my secret key, my private key, my wallet address, the rate limit and other stuff as well. So here I'm fetching the balance. Here I'm getting all the balance response of my USDC in particular directly from my Hyperliquid account. So if my USDC balance on Hyperliquid is less than $10, so the bot is not going to run. And then I'm fetching so when the bot starts, it's going to fetch all the current active positions that I currently have opened, and it's going to determine whether to short it or maybe to long it, or maybe whether to close it or not. So here I'm fetching the open, high, low, close and volume directly from my Hyperliquid account. So that's what this function is doing. And then we need this to for the strategy. So I'm using the time frame 15 minutes to fetch, and then I'm fetching the last 100 ticks directly from Hyperliquid. Okay, then here I'm calculating the ATR strategy here, so we can use that to determine the stop loss to set, so that the bot will use that. And then here I'm calculating the RSI, the overbought and the oversold. The RSI as well is also another strategy. So you can just go on YouTube and watch a couple of videos on RSI indicator, so you can understand better how it works. Okay, here I'm calculating the Bollinger Bands. I'm using the NumPy to calculate that. Then here I'm calculating this. So this is where the signal generator starts. So I'm calculating the trend signal here. Okay, so using pandas. Then I'm calculating the mean reversion signal here. I'm calculating the breakthrough signal here. Calculating the funding signal here. I'm determining the volatility regime, combining signals. I'm calculating the stop loss here using the ATR. Okay, so which I which I showed you earlier. Then we are calculating the take profit one, and then the finalize exit after fill, which is this what this function is doing. Then here I'm calculating the position size. Okay, um based on the strategies that the functions, other functions. So here I'm just reusing most of the functions I've written earlier, calling them. Then here I'm finalizing exit after fill. Okay, then here I'm placing others with stops. And so for the stop order, this is what I'm doing here. Okay, then I am placing the entry with built-in stop loss. So that's what this function is doing, so that once the market order is placed, it's actually going to place the stop limit order as well. So if you come to open orders here, you can see that these are some of the stop limit order. We have the stop limit order that it actually plays here for BTC USDT. It said the stop limit order to 65,137, which is this 65,137 over here. Okay, then so that's what this all this function is doing here. So it's going to open the position. So these are actually some advanced strategies. Then here I'm checking the take profit hit. So the bot will use this to check whether the trade or the position has actually hit any of the take profit, either the take profit 1 or take profit 2, and it's going to log it out, then sending it to my Telegram. Okay, so also for the take profit 2, then here is to close the positions and then send notification to my Telegram as well. Then we are managing the runner positions. That means so once the TP2 has been the TP2 hit, so it's going to give room for part of the trade to keep running, so that it can be like more like a runner position. So that's what this logic is actually doing here. We are checking the position age. So how long has the position been opened? So if the position has been open for some hours based on the strategy, then it's actually going to close it and then try to fetch a new. It's going to try to fetch a new strategy based on the indicators, and then use that to decide whether to open a new position or not. Okay. Then here is where I start setting the bot state, and this is just uh like more like a dashboard, which is what is showing here for us here. Okay, so we can monitor the trade directly on our terminal without having to go to Hyperliquid every single time. So here I'm running the dashboard. It's just more like a dashboard to on your, because for me to if I want to build a UI interface for this, so I'll have to be building a custom API, but I just want to keep the bot simple, and that is the major reason why this function is there. Okay, now for the other helper functions, here we are fetching and normalizing the positions. Here we are calculating the daily P&L, the profit and loss for the past 24 hours. Then here we are clearing the stale trails. The bot is going to use this to determine whether I should stop trading if the daily loss has been met. Just like we said it earlier there. Then we are going to get the position count, loading the equity history here as well. So then this is where the trade is going to loop. So we are looping the trade here so that the bot can keep running continuously. It's going to keep first checking the balance before we start a new position every time. It's going to determine whether the my Hyperliquid USDC balance is still more than 10 USDC to keep the trade running. And So that's what we are doing here. We are using the dashboard, we are fetching. So this is just like a test order just to force it, but this is actually not needed. Okay, so yeah, so that is basically how the bot works. And so far so good. I think the bot is actually performing. You can see that the bot is actually making some cool profits. I started running this bot 2 days ago, and so I deposited $200, and currently it's almost like more than 3% ROI. um, so yeah, I'll keep testing the bot, and I will see how it's gonna unfold, probably for the next 1 month or to the end of this month, and then hopefully I can keep tweaking the bot. The strategy is already here, and so what I can just do is maybe just keep tweaking the bot and see how it unfolds. But I'm very, very optimistic that this is actually going to be um, a a profitable bot. So let's say I'm having like 1%. If I'm getting like 1% profit every single day with just $100, so that means I'm making like $1 or $2, even if it's just 2%. So in next 30 days from now, so that means I should be making maybe up to like $60 with just my $100 deposit, and that should be like 60% ROI if this bot continues trading like this, and if the market doesn't change. One thing you should understand about strategies or trading bot is it's also based on the current market structure, and that is the reason why you also need to ensure that you you make sure that the bot is built in with a proper risk management to avoid loss. So right now, for each of these trades that this bot is opening now, is actually going to close out the trade automatically in case the market goes against me. Right now you can see that it seems BTC is going up again. So if it goes up and it's crossed my stop loss here, the bot is automatically going to close out the trade. And yeah, so it is very, very advisable to ensure that in order not to lose your capital based on any strategy whatsoever, the risk management is very, very important. You have to make sure that you enforce a proper risk management for any of your bot ideas that you are building. So I believe that is all for now. You can watch other take research on probably the RSI and the maybe EMA and the ATR indicator to understand better how it works. Then yeah, so if you are using the CCST library, just go through the documentation here. It's very, very simple. You can also make use of AI to also assist you while you are building, especially if you are just starting out, and even if you are not just starting out, it's more advisable to make use of AI these days. So for instance, you can just use ChatGPT, maybe DeepSeek, and just say tell it to help you. How do I run um how do I get started using the CCST library? How do I get started using this CCST libraries? So it's actually going to give you a couple of ways to get started. So you see, you have to install the CCST library after you are done setting up your Python project environment. Then you can import it, then you instantiate it here, just like what we did earlier in what I did earlier here. Okay, where is it? Here. So the exchange config, I was passing the main wallet address, my private key, the rate limit as well. So you can see that is the exact same thing that the DeepSeek is giving us here. And yes, so you pass it, and then from there you can fetch your balance. You can start calling the function, and that is it. Okay, so I believe this video has been helpful. If you are looking to build a bot like this, maybe you need help with it, you can actually get in touch with me on directly on my Upwork profile. So you can just reach out to me on Upwork. You can invite me to your job, or you can just send a direct message to me on Upwork. So this is my profile on Upwork. You can reach out to me, and yeah, I'll be happy to assist you with your crypto trading bots, whether on Hyperliquid or other platforms as well. Thank you. Looking forward to work with you guys. Bye.